Hey everybody, this is me, Daniel Hutchins, and today we're doing an article again from our friend Screen Rant. But of course, there's going to also be bonuses after this article, so stay tuned. So Superman's son will break the law to do what is right. And Superman's Son of Kal-El #2, Jonathan Kent, just proved that he's willing to break the law in order to bring justice to the DC universe. This was from yesterday. Plus, I'm going to be doing some bonuses, so stick around. Again, like I said. One in, there are spoilers. So, in Superman Son of Kal-El #2, Jonathan Kent breaks the law in the name of justice. Superheroes like Superman are symbols of both readers and comic book citizens look up to. Therefore, they have lots of rules that can't be broken, as it would be a bad precedent. Now, the biggest rule of all, of course, is Superman's no-kill rule. So on some occasions, Superman has broken it to stop a threat that would have threatened the entire planet. If the villain in question were to have lived, a lot of the job is about morally justifying the methods to which heroes take down villains. However, Jonathan Kent, the ex-Superboy, isn't just the son of Clark Kent. He's also the son of the world's best and most courageous reporter, Lois Lane. Just like Superman, Lois's sole mission was to bring justice to the world, though she does so through journalism. Arguably, it is even more admirable way of assisting the world, considering it as non-violent, even if it means getting down and dirty. Lois does what she needs to help the world. Journalism has the power to make the world a better place, though sometimes it means breaking rules. Clearly, Jonathan takes a lot after his mother, despite being re-owned as Superman's son, and that's on display from this issue. Related to this article is Superman quietly proves DC Comics just entered the new age. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about someone else. So in Superman Son of Kal-El #2 by Tom Taylor and some others, DC's new Superman breaks the law. This occurred as he saved some refugees, bringing them to Metropolis, only for them to be arrested by authorities. However, their intent was different from what he was thinking. They handcuffed the refugees and take for questioning, whereas Superman had the idea or the notion that they would be free to start a new life in America. The law-breaking part comes at the point as Jonathan heat visions one of the refugees' handcuffs. Okay. According to this law, Superman's actions are illegal. Essentially, it's the equivalent of breaking someone out of prison. In both cases, the prisoner's under protection of the government that arrested them. Jonathan's brash actions prove that he is willing to break the law in order to serve justice. Arguably, this was the right thing to do and completely admirable. As mentioned, it's a quality that he shares with his mother, Lois Lane. Jonathan gives no second thought to freeing the arrested refugees. It's classic Superman to bring justice when injustice was being dealt. Although it was risky to go against the rules, it's what a true superhero would do in the name of greater good. Governments are important to run the countries, but they all have faults in their system. So it's great to see someone with conscience step up and stand up. Superman Son of Kal-El #2 is now available in comic book stores near you. Okay. So, now we are going to be talking about something else. Okay. Now we are talking about Galactus. Yep, so Marvel's new Galactus is even scarier than the original. So Marvel Comics just revealed the Devourer of Worlds, who existed before Galactus, and even Silver Surfer is afraid of this planet eater. Warning, there are spoilers. So the Defenders just met a brand new villain who essentially was Galactus, but even deadlier. After being taken across space and time to find themselves on the planet Ta, the Marvel heroes discovered Devourer of Worlds who existed before Galactus. Omnimax, and unlike Galactus Omnimax, seems to destroy planets for pleasure, not from the name of restoring cosmic balance in the universe. Now, the latest installment of Defenders by Ala Wing and others stars the Masked Raider trying to take down Marvel's oldest villain. So, he meets up with Doctor Strange and a pair assemble this team to take on Zoda. Strange summons a spell that brings together Silver Surfer, Cloud, and Red Harpy. However, after casting this spell to assemble the team, Strange, Masked Raider, and a couple of others find themselves teleported across the universe to Ta, which is the home planet of Galactus. While this might seem weird enough of a problem itself, the Defenders discover Omnimax, a terrifying devourer of worlds who ate planets long before Galactus did. But related to this article is Daredevil is about to get more violent than fans are ready for. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. So in a new preview from Defenders number 2 by Marvel Comics, Silver Surfer watches Omnimax arrive to Ta during his 6th cosmos and starts to attack the planet. Surfer admits it's a strange feeling to look up to destruction instead of being forced to watch alongside the destruction. However, he notes while Galactus' hunger was a burden to him, he tried to change multiple times. Now, Omnimax, he's different. He embraces destruction. Additional to this, Silver Surfer reveals he's afraid of death that the being has brought to Ta. Now, Galactus' mother has warned the team of a deadly crisis upon them. Okay. This is interesting, and there's some interesting photos followed below. So you have to go to Screen Rant to see him though. But Omnimax unleashes a powerful blast of energy on Ta, leading to Ta quakes, causing land and buildings to tremble and start to fall apart. Silver Surfer takes to his board and tries to help as Omnimax causes more calamity from the home of Galactus. The Defenders are in a challenging situation, as Omnimax is a planet-eating threat on the scale of Galactus with even more of a dark side. Omnimax seems to thrive on destruction and embraces watching planets fall in their whim. Can the team save Ta, or will the collapse of multiverse lead to natural events that created Galactus from the first place? But regardless, Omnimax adds a fascinating new dimension to the destruction of Ta and Galactus' backstory. Readers can also see the new Galactus-like threat attack when Defenders number 2 comes to comic book stores later in the week. Okay. So there you go, guys. That's a little bit of information about the new Galactus that is even stronger than the original. Okay. Yeah, so now we're going to switch gears and go to DC Comics. Again, we're going to be talking about Darkseid. Yep, Darkseid's multiverse shaken Omega Lantern. The true origin revealed. Now, the Infinite Frontier has just revealed the Darkseid's new weapon, the Omega Lantern, which isn't what fans thought, with roots deep to the DC cosmic lore. Now, this was a couple days ago. So, if you guys remember all the lanterns from DC Comics, please drop some comments below. I'd appreciate that. So, in Infinite Frontier, DC has revealed the true nature of its supposed Black Lantern, leading to the major sacrifice to save the multiverse from Darkseid. Thus far in the new series, Darkseid and his agent, the Psycho Pirate, are seeking to reach what lies beyond the confines of the multiverse in order to control the intermingling of worlds, granting this ruler as Apocalypse's absolute control. However, when Barry Allen, the Flash, has been a key player and they've manipulated to their ends, it turns out Roy Harper is also vital, as his dark powers are more than what most seem. But while Roy Harper has been dead since the tragic Heroes in Crisis event, he came back after Dark Knight's death metal, he was resurrected by Batman in the event's final battle. However, the former Green Arrow sidekick was resurrected wearing a Black Lantern ring in this new series, granting him new powers that also made him a prime target for Darkseid's evil plans. But once Roy Harper and several other heroes such as the JSA, or the Justice Society of America, for those who don't know, and Justice Incarnate, make their way to Earth Omega, where Darkseid resides, it's revealed that Roy's ring isn't actually a Black Lantern ring at all. Related to this article is Darkseid's new weapon is more powerful than the anti-life equation. Now, if you guys remember, the anti-life equation is kind of like Darkseid's way to bring balance to the universe. Just like, Thanos, he has his Infinity Gauntlet snap. Well, Darkseid has his thing called the anti-life equation. So there you go, guys. But there's more. So, according to Psycho Pirate, Roy Harper was chosen by a darker and much older force than has simply been disguised in the Black Lantern ring. Apparently, this force had sought Roy out to do his rocky and tumultuous history of darkness, pain, suffering, making him the perfect bullseye target. However, while this means Roy has the power to save the heroes that have been trapped in energy chains due to Earth Omega, closing off the worlds to the multiverse from each other, this act will turn Roy into a mindless zombie. Roy still chooses to become the avatar of darkness in order to free the other heroes, his daughter as well, confident, though, that he has plenty of suffering to the fuel of his ring's power. Okay, so while fans thought they understood the Black Lantern ring from prior appearances, it turns out, though, Roy's weapon is actually something far darker and older. Now, awakened by Batman Who Laughs, the war on reality itself, with Darkseid claiming Roy as what he calls my Omega Lantern. So from the end of this issue, it seems that despite freeing his fellow heroes, Roy might be connected to a supreme force of the Lord of Apocalypse, has been seeking throughout Infinite Frontier. So Roy Harper has had to endure a lot through his life, so hopefully this dark sacrifice will turn out to break the forces of good needed, just so one more step in Darkseid's plan. So with one more issue left of this series, it's likely that fans are about to find out more about the entity behind Roy's transformation. But if Darkseid seeks to command it, DC fans can still be assured it's being a staggering power, one with deep roots in comic book history. It's chilling to see Darkseid turn the actions of selfless heroes like the Flash and the Black Lantern to his own ends. But it's even more disturbing to the fact that to learn that Roy's new powers come from an ancient, recently awake being attracted by suffering. Hopefully, the Infinite Frontier conclusion makes the sacrifice worth the while. Okay. So now, we are going to be talking back about Marvel again. So now we're switching back and forth, guys. So, DC, Marvel, you kind of get the feel. But yeah, so now we're on Marvel again. So, Scarlet Witch assembles her own Avengers team to hunt the Darkhold. Now, this was from a couple days ago. Semi-recent. But okay, so the evil Darkhold is returning to the Marvel Universe. And to stop this, the Scarlet Witch must assemble her own team of Avengers. Okay. Potential spoilers ahead for Darkhold Alpha number 1. Okay, so the evil Darkhold is returning. So Scarlet Witch is assembling her own team of Avengers to stop it. So from a special unlettered preview of Darkhold Alpha number 1, which is on sale in print and on digital September the 29th of this month, Scarlet Witch senses the evil book presence and brings a ragtag group of heroes together to stop its influence from spreading. Now the Darkhold, aka the Book of Sin, was a collection of evil spells written by the evil god Chatan, considered one of the most powerful magical objects in the Marvel Universe. The book was responsible for the creation of vampires and werewolves, which Marvel's going to probably visit soon, along with many other dark deeds. Now, Marvel even published a series devoted to the Darkhold that ran from 1992 to 1994. So if you 90s babies remember, Darkhold was actually part of this Marvel Universe back in the day. But recently, the books appeared in Marvel Cinematic Universe and Runaways and from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and, on the contrary, WandaVision. Although its canon of the first two is open to interpretation, it will return back in Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. Now, before that, however, the Darkhold has plans to make life miserable for the heroes in Marvel Comic Universe, and the Darkhold Alpha number 1, written by Steve Orlando with art by Cian Tormey and colors by Jesus Hebotorf. Okay, so related to this article is Wolverine's families reuniting to hunt Scarlet Witch's killer. Okay, but we're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. But advance later to some unlettered preview pages were posted from Marvel website recently. The Scarlet Witch is awakened from sleep by the sense that something was wrong, and only she could do something about it. The next page shows Scarlet Witch holding court with Doctor Doom, and the third page shows the assembled team Spider-Man, Iron Man, the Wasp, Black Bolt, and Blade. Now they are able to enter the Darkhold dimension, and the team must read from the book's pages, but to do so, they risk insanity. The preview concludes with the team coming back from under the book's evil influence. You could take a look at some preview art here on ScreenRant.com. And I must say, the new design of Darkhold actually looks pretty good, I guess. I'd probably say, based on this illustration of the cover art for the new Darkhold, I would have to say it's about a 6 out of 10. I still think the 90s one was better, but okay, so you can argue about that if you like, but I'm just saying. Okay, so Darkhold is one of the primary sources of the evil in the Marvel Universe, responsible for creating the monsters and condemning the innocents of eternal damnation. Now, the only way to truly fight the Darkhold is to read from it, but that comes from a high price. Its influence must be stopped, and it's on Scarlet Witch to do so. Now, if her team has been truly corrupted, how will she be able to defeat that? Well, that's a good question. The Darkhold is immensely powerful and thwarted some of the most powerful sorcerers in the Marvel Universe, and also included Merlin, you know, the wizard or magician from the King Arthur days. Now, what chance does the Scarlet Witch and her team stand from the book? That's a good question. But again, the Darkhold is once again exerting its own influence over the Marvel Universe, and Scarlet Witch has brought together her own team to stop it. But only time would tell if they're successful or not, depending on what's all gonna go down. So now, we are reading the article bonus that's next. The X-Men reveals that Scarlet Witch may finally be forgiven from the House of M. So if you guys remember the House of M, it was a crossover that tied in the X-Men and the Avengers. So the revelations from the trial of Magneto has suggested that the X-Men might be ready to forgive the Scarlet Witch for the House of M, but it has came to a price. Now this was from back in August, guys. So if you who are my subscribers remember, I talked about the stories or some information about the X-Men trial of Magneto. So for those who don't know the trial of Magneto, that is the new story this year that's supposed to tie some of the X-Men and Scarlet Witch things together into the folds. So, the X-Men may finally be ready to forgive the Scarlet Witch for her world-changing actions during her event called the House of M. The so-called decimation event that all we know in comic book fandom has stripped the powers of nearly every mutant in the world, now causing havoc among the much put-upon mutant community. The X-Men Trial of Magneto, which is the new book this year, has written by Leah Williams with art by Lucas Winterick and colors by Edgar Delgado. The stage is set for Scarlet Witch's redemption, but it has a cost. Just like, you remember, like, from the Infinity War and from Endgame, you remember how, like, you have the Soul Stone, and, a life is a life for a life, what I'm saying? So, kind of sort of like that, but not really, but kind of. But the Scarlet Witch was found dead at the end of the event, the Hellfire Gala. That was also earlier this year. Now, if you remember, the Hellfire Gala books actually came out back earlier in the year. Actually, they came out back in like May and June. But anyway, this sets off the large investigation among the X-Men as North Star, Prestige, Dakin, and others examine this area in which she was found. Now, using their mutant powers and putting any human detective's efforts to shame, this group has realized that there's precious little time about the murder that has made sense. Now, North Star rightfully points out that it would be near impossible to surprise the Scarlet Witch without the murderer having a considerable amount of power. Now, he quotes, "How does one get the jump on sorcerer who controls all reality?" Well, that's a great question. While the others eventually discover clues that Wanda was in all likelihood held back by metallic cuffs. Now, the Quiet Council, who's just a, group of people quiet from the council, is in the name, meets to discuss the possibility of the Scarlet Witch's resurrection. Okay, now that's a deal that's probably going to be worked out through the comics, but related to this article is Professor X and Magneto were not based on Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. So Magneto has rages on the council, calling them fools for allowing Wanda's potential murderers to view her autopsy. After the council has calmed down Magneto, Xavier has outlined and explained the unique situation in which they find themselves, and they have no choice, and they have to have a choice. They either bring back Scarlet Witch, which was a quite unique choice, because Wanda and Pedro, or the sole non-mutants who you guys remember from the second Avengers movie, Age of Ultron, remember? Wanda and Pedro, yep. So deceive Cerebro long enough for there to be actual backups. Very, very, very old backups. But yes, they are there. The unspoken comment around this table was pretty clear, but the Scarlet Witch could be resurrected without her memories of the causing of the decimation we saw from House of M. Okay, now the House of M was basically just, an event that, Scarlet Witch, she was responsible for. So, in House of M, Scarlet Witch's small yet famous utterance, no more mutants, has caused the mutant population to shrink drastically down to a few hundred people. Now this unfortunately led to terrifying moments from the mutants who depended on their powers to live. Chamber, for example. While some mutants eventually recovered their powers, Professor X and Magneto, many did not. Now this event is still a sole part of mutant history, and Marvel history, should I say. So however, if the Scarlet Witch is resurrected with an earlier backups, and thus without the memory of causing the decimation of House of M, she could potentially be forgiven for her disaster. Now the Quiet Council, which is in the name, they are a council that's quiet, has unfortunately since voted the Scarlet Witch should remain dead. But this naturally infuriates Magneto. The master of magnetism, we all know, isn't easily persuaded to follow his rules. Even the ironclad laws of Krakoa, which is the New Mutant Nation, though he remains the prime suspect, Magneto will no doubt move heaven and earth to resurrect his daughter Wanda. And only then will readers find out whether the X-Men truly forgive the Scarlet Witch for her crime. Okay guys, so that's just a little bit of some information I want to share to you guys. We are going on 26 minutes, and so I figured we can call this a wrap. And if you guys like this content, please let me know in the comments, and have a wonderful rest of your morning. And I'll probably be doing some more videos throughout the weekend. See you in the next upload. Bye.